Okay, welcome to Teaching with the iPad. My name is Chuck Konkol. Let's go and get started. Theology degree from Central Bible College in Springfield, Missouri. Master's degree in Computer Science and Communication from Drury University in Springfield, Missouri. Also a developer, author, trainer, teacher, husband, father, papa. Grandson's 4 years old now. And I call myself a theological geek. So today we're going to talk about the iPad and how you can teach with the iPad. Let's talk about my journey first. Starting in September 2010, when the iPad first generation first came out, I purchased the iPad and began trying to use it in the classroom ever since. And it has evolved. Better camera, better processor, faster, more apps available for teachers and faculty. Teachers in the iPads, I've seen changes from interested to heavy users in the classroom. When I began teaching with the iPad, again, it was just trying to use as many tools as possible. It was available then in 2010, which wasn't many. But one of the cool things that was available was being able to present a keynote presentation, converted PowerPoint presentation into Keynote at that time, movies, showing movies in the classroom, showing browser information in the classroom. Also, specialized apps began to come out. And then students in the iPads, as far as the evolution of students in iPads, I would say in the last couple of years I've seen an influx of student purchases on college campuses, and I think we'll see that increase. And training for teachers that use iPads in a classroom. I've been involved at Rock Valley College over the last, since the beginning of 2011, training faculty to use iPads in the classroom, and from all genres. And so today we're just going to go over how to use the iPad in the classroom. The hardest thing about learning something new is that first step. You've had the iPad for a while, and deep down you know you should be using it, but you don't know where to start. Hopefully this session will inspire you to take that first step in using the iPad in the classroom. As a college professor of mine used to say, diligence breeds success. So the iPad in the classroom is interactive, adaptive, and emerging. Interactive in the sense of digital whiteboard. Faculty can walk around the room, allow students to interact with whiteboard activity by taking pictures of student work or importing student work as students submit via Dropbox. Photo, video, and audio. Faculty can record and annotate pictures while on a field trip. In addition, faculty can embed audio into students' papers for personal feedback using an app called iAnnotate that we'll look at in a second. Animation. New interactive textbooks allow the text to come alive using video, 3D animation, audio, and dynamic textbook updates through the Apple Bookstore. Accessibility. The iPads fit the teachers' and students' lifestyle. Learners now have access 24/7. Creativity. Tens of thousands of educational apps expand folks to learn in and out of the classroom. Learning styles, cognitive, kinesthetic, and affective through the rich array of media available. Learning disabilities. There are tons of applications available for the iPad for learning disabilities. Apple's website here has great resource on some of the areas of special education like autism that they're focusing on app development for. And general developers like myself have a wide array of applications that can be developed. All it takes is a creative thought, a creative idea to begin that process. Here's a video from Washtenaw Community College on how they use iPads.
One of the core values at WCC is innovation. One way we achieve this is by exposing the students to new and diverse technology in the classroom. An example of such technology is the inclusion of the Apple iPad. It is already known to be a teaching device, but it can also be used as a versatile tool and data interface for vocational technology courses. Here you can see automotive students are able to check out an iPad just like they would any other tool. They can then use it to diagnose their vehicle when it exhibits a problem. For example, it can tell them exactly why the check engine light is on by providing engine codes. Being wireless lets students take the device anywhere with them and access real-time data. Students can get more work done during lab time as the iPad can load and process information much faster than other tools. Lastly, many students are already comfortable using handheld smart devices like these. Therefore, the interface learning curve is low. Using the latest in technology exposes students to yet another way to problem solve utilizing different tools. This makes their skill set more valuable in the job market. A multitude of apps are also available, and more are constantly being created for new uses in many different industries. When considering cost, iPads can sometimes be less expensive than other tools, while processing information much faster. And with a wireless connection, reference information from the internet is right at the student's fingertips. Using technology in the labs and classroom is just one way WCC is innovating the student learning experience.
So that's how that college uses iPads in their automotive area. Emerging is another way that iPads are impacting colleges and schools all around the world. The iPad is the #1 ranked emerging technology for educational applications, textbooks, and communication tools. There are other devices out there today, but I would say the iPad is still head above heels over the other devices that are out on the market. All publishers are currently working with Apple in the K-12 market and college market to bring textbooks into the hands of students and teachers who own iPads. Teachers currently have the ability to create their own textbook for the iPad using an application free to download from Apple's website called iAuthor. With iAuthor, textbooks are dynamically updated as it's modified on the Apple Store. No longer do students have to wait, or even faculty or teachers have to wait until book version for the next data comes out. Hundreds of high school, colleges, and universities 2- and 4-year now require iPads for teachers and students to use. According to the American Graduate Initiative, community colleges are to graduate 5 million more graduates, and the iPads will help us get there. RBC has had an iPad pilot program from fall 2012 to spring 2013 semesters. Dodge City Community College recently finished their iPad initiative, and a quote from the president says of that college says, "We are going to move our level of teaching and involvement with technology into the 21st century." And I think that's important to note, that technology and moving technology, just to be moving it, is one thing, but technology to create change and to create education for students to learn, and is what I believe the iPad is doing in schools that are using them. This is a chart I found interesting as far as just some latest stats on college students and technology, how they're codependent. 73% of college students said they cannot study without technology. 70% of students use keyboards to take notes, no paper anymore. And those keyboards are on their iPad, laptop, phones. 91% of students use email to communicate with professors. 38% of college students cannot go 10 minutes without checking their email, tablet, laptop, or smartphone. 98% of students own an e-reader and read e-textbooks, and 65% use digital devices to create presentations. So what's the perception of the iPad? I'm glad you asked. In March 2012, there was a survey done by Pearson Foundation and Harris Interactive. So tablet ownership among college students and high school seniors have risen dramatically in the last year. Ownership has tripled among college students, 25% versus 7% in 2011, and quadrupled among high school seniors, 17% versus 4% in 2011. Survey also revealed that more students are reading digital textbooks, and the majority of college students, 63%, and high school seniors, 69%, believe that tablets will effectively replace textbooks within the next 5 years. This next video is Apple's answer to the static hardback textbook. So let's watch it.
I teach because when you learn, you become a better person, always.
I get to see young minds blossom, grow, develop.
The ability to engage a student is the key to being a good teacher.
Using outdated materials such as textbooks makes that job much more difficult.
In textbooks, there's diagrams, but they're static. Something like a cell membrane is a fluid thing. It's always moving.
With U.S. history, they print a textbook and it's outdated almost the second that it's printed.
Textbooks are very expensive. They're usually $60 to $100 for different textbooks. So they're adopted for 5 years and then you're stuck with them.
They're extremely heavy, and if you have 3 or 4 in a backpack, it's a lot of weight, and so some students will simply just quit bringing textbooks to class.
There is no reason today to assume that kids have to use the same tools that they used in 1950. In fact, to do so is to prepare them for a world that's already passed.
Education has always been a big part of Apple's DNA. And that's because we really believe that technology can make a profound difference in the way that teachers teach and kids learn. And we now have the opportunity to change one of the cornerstones of education, the textbook. With the iPad, we're making textbooks so much more engaging. By adding audio, video, and interactivity, the content comes to life in ways that are just not possible on the printed page. The information is always up to date, and instead of carrying 30 pounds of books in a backpack, you just need one iPad. These new textbooks are going to allow students to do things they could never do before.
When we set out to bring textbooks to iPad, there were really 3 areas we focused on. We wanted to have really fast, fluid navigation. We wanted to have beautiful graphics. And we wanted to create a better, easier way to take notes and use those notes. When you integrate photography, video, audio, interactive objects, and keynote animations right into the page, the material becomes so much more immersive and compelling. And you can do things you just can't do with a static paper textbook. Taking notes is one of the key ways students learn. So we're introducing some amazing new ways to take notes on iPad. When you see something you're interested in, you just swipe over it and it's highlighted. When you want to add a note, you just tap on it and type. And when you're ready to use your notes, you have an elegant study card view. It's all automatically organized for you, so you just don't have to think about it.
Up to now, making interactive books for iPad has been difficult, so we wanted to make it easier. And this meant so much to us, we had to invent a way to do it. So we developed iBooks Author, an incredible new publishing tool for the Mac. It has Apple-designed templates that allow anyone to create a beautiful multi-touch book for the iPad. And we wanted to get it into the hands of as many people as possible, so we're making it available for free. We also launched the new textbook section of the iBook Store, and this will let publishers easily distribute the most up-to-date version of their textbook right to students. And students can open and read these textbooks right in the iBooks app. So now there's an easy way to create these books, an easy way to buy them, and an incredibly engaging way to experience them. And we're really excited because we think this is going to help students, teachers, and publishers.
Digitization of education is going to be the opportunity of the century. The textbook on the iPad is so much bigger, broader, and more dynamic because what it does is it brings the curriculum alive.
Now we are to the point where we need to have more 21st century materials. We need to engage children. We need to live in the world they live in. And Apple will be essential to that.
When you start talking about what the benefits of Apple and an educational company are, the power of that partnership is huge. It allows more people in more places to benefit from the capabilities that this will have.
Apple is a company that has a genius for engaging people. You can do things with a digital textbook that you never could before. It will make students much more interested, and if it stimulates curiosity, you've got the spark for learning.
The Los Angeles Unified School District is the place that I have the privilege to work. I have a little over 1,000 schools and campuses, and I serve more than 750,000 youth, pre-K through 12. It's an amazing school district, and it has amazing stories of success and unbelievable stories of challenge. We had decided to adopt iPad technology as we were trying to provide ways for increasing student engagement. With these interactive textbooks, we're going to watch huge leaps in what's possible for students. They're phenomenally going to change the landscape of education. I think it will reignite the whole passion about why we came into teaching to begin with.
I have become a better person while I've taught. You can't help it. You become attached to your students.
Answer all of these questions as you read.
There are some students that no matter what you do, you just cannot reach them, and it's a very, very sad feeling.
And as I add things to that.
But whenever I see a student make a connection or have a realization of comprehension and the light bulb just clicks on, you know, I want to stand up and cheer. I think with the interactive textbooks on the iPad, that connection will be occurring on a regular basis. It will definitely change my students' lives for the better. It will create opportunities for them to learn in ways they've never been able to learn before. They're going to want to go to school. They're going to want to learn. Learning opens eyes, it opens minds, and it opens windows into places that you've never dreamed of before. And there's nothing else I can think of that's near as rewarding.
It's Apple and textbooks, using developing your own textbook and distributing them to students and faculty. This slide here talks about the rankability of market share with Apple. And second quarter of this year, Apple increased sales above and beyond all other makers of tablets. And then also the latest one at the bottom here goes over the growth percentage in OEM semiconductors. These are the brains basically of the iPad and iPhone. This screen talk goes over one of the fitting with the iPad and the iTextbook solution that Apple has given faculty now to use and teachers all over the world. Around 2 years ago, I began developing a course for Apple through their course manager. They made it live in 2011, and currently I've got 15,121 students enrolled in that course. And this application you can download to your iPad called iTunes U. It's a free app from the iTunes store, which allows you to purchase, or not purchase, just download for free, multiple courses specifically designed for the iPad. A teacher can develop those courses. Students have in that course, once it's downloaded, assignments, links to podcasts, links to textbook, and other resources. So avail yourself to download the iTunes U app and begin navigating what is out there, and maybe the possibility of you yourself developing your own textbook using Apple's software, iAuthor. So let's talk about how to use the iPad now that we've talked a little bit about the history, where the iPad has been, where it's at, where it's going. Let's talk about the iPad itself. The first thing you got to do before you can teach with the iPad is get one. Also, you need some accessories, applications. What course or courses are you going to begin teaching with your iPad? And then begin teaching them. I tell faculty all the time, the last point is you will have times of frustration, like with anything new, not just technology, but don't give up. Keep at it. Keep trying new and different ways to use your iPad to reach students. Cost for an iPad 3 is $499, 16 gig model. The mini is $329, 16 gig model. Some funding available for iPads. You've got federal, corporate, self-purchase, and Perkins grant. Recently at Rock Valley College was approved a Perkins grant for 20 iPad minis from my iOS development course, where students are developing applications, iOS app for the iPad. And so that included in that grant the 20 iPad minis, 20 VGA connectors, and a case. And I believe it was around $9,000 for that Perkins grant. If you are interested in seeing the grant that I put together for Perkins, I'd be more than glad to email you that grant. And my email is c.konkol@rockvalleycollege.edu. Here's some accessories I recommend. ZeroChroma.com has some great cases. New stylus out. ADONIT.net. It's a Jot Pro. Wireless mic. You can share this among faculty. It's around $200, but it plugs into PC or Mac, and you're allowed to wear a lapel mic anywhere around the classroom and record from your Mac or PC the screen of your iPad. And you can do that in a number of different ways we'll talk about here in just a second. The VGA connector. Also, you'll need to connect your iPad directly to the overhead projector. So let's talk about the applications. Categorized these applications into classroom productivity, presentation, collaboration, polls and assessments, video creation, and screencast creation. First, classroom productivity and grading. 3 applications I recommend. One is iAnnotate. This is where you can mark up papers with notes and audio comments. Hundreds of dollars cheaper than Adobe Pro, $9.99. Teacher's Assistant Pro allows you to keep track of all your students' progress and easily connect to parents, $7.99. Mockstra allows you to annotate with audio, text, video, and it's free. Editing and creating MS Office documents like Microsoft, PowerPoint, and Excel. CloudOn is the app I recommend. You can edit MS Docs from email that people send you, like students, and then reply with edits. In addition, you can create Microsoft documents as well. And this is free. Presentation. Keynote is the number 1 app you should have. It's Apple's answer for PowerPoint. It's $9.99. Prezi started out web only. Now it has an iPad app where you can actually create really cool presentations. Recently, they added the app, and it also is free. Explain Everything. This application I use all the time in my teaching environment. You can import PowerPoints, keynotes, PDF files. You can add web pages, images, videos, record your voice and screen actions, and also export that to your camera roll, to YouTube, Dropbox, Google Drive, WebDAV, etc. It's $2.99, and in fact, that's what I'm using today to record this presentation, is Explain Everything. Collaboration. Show Me Interactive Whiteboard allows you to record drawings, math illustrations, and share them via YouTube. It's free. Moxtra. It's a new app on the block. The creator is an ex-CEO of WebEx. The binder idea came from a daughter of the developer. Users have the ability to add files from a PC or Mac computer, websites, web page clips, blank pages that they can draw on, camera, photos, and video. Moxtra works with all popular cloud drives. It also has a live collaboration tool called Meet that can occur at any time, initiated by a teacher and given to students to have live interaction and group connectivity. And that one is free as well. ThinkPad. ThinkPad allows you to import PDF and share that link via a URL with anyone with a browser. It's currently not available on the App Store, but it will be for $2.99. Mighty Meeting allows you to email your PDF file and share it around the world in a live presentation. Allows others in the meeting to annotate a slide as well. And you can share rights for folks to annotate those slides. And so this will be a good group activity. Mighty Meeting for that one, and it also is free. Polls and assessments. Polls allow you in the classroom to have impromptu instant results. Great to see where students are on any given topic. It also is good feedback to faculty. Assessments, test prep, quick quizzes, instant results. Socrative is the app I recommend for polls and assessments. It's a student response system that empowers teachers to engage their classrooms through a series of educational exercises and games via smartphones, laptops, and tablets. This app is also free. It was developed by a group of teachers that are programmers on the East Coast, and it's a great app. Definitely recommend it. We actually did this poll and assessment app demo today at school at the conference, and it worked great. Video creation. Your iPad or iPad mini both have an HD video camera built into the device. Great for class field trips, treasure hunts, interviews, and student feedback. Screencast and podcast allow you to record exactly what you did in the classroom or in your office for students to view over and over again. The uses for Screencast: flipping the classroom, in-class sessions, weekly announcements, podcast, and then content you don't have time to cover in class, you can use these for. Just like this app I'm using right now to record this presentation, Explain Everything, at the end it allows me to export this to a video format, or I can go directly and export it to YouTube. I do recommend with Explain Everything some other tools that you can use, which I'll talk about in just a little bit. Screencast Methods. Tethered is the first method. This is where you record the iPad app screen only. It uses apps such as Explain Everything or Moxtra. You connect to a projector via VGA, and PC or Mac is not needed. So for this method, you just need a VGA connector, and that's it. And I do recommend, out of these two, Explain Everything is much easier to use. It's been around longer. I believe Mockstra does have some promising features, but it's fairly new, and so I recommend Explain Everything over Mockstra because of that. So for now, I'd recommend Explain Everything, later Mockstra. Untethered is the second method. So we have tethered as the first method of screencasts. Secondly, untethered. Untethered uses your iPad, which has built-in AirPlay, and an application called AirServer that you can purchase and download for Mac or PC. And what you do is you connect both your Mac or PC and your iPad to the same network connectivity. Once you do that, you then use AirPlay on the iPad and mirrors the iPad and lets you record the entire screen. You can record audio with a wireless USB microphone, and I recommend the X-Tag microphone by revolabs.com, and it's a USB wireless microphone. Explain Everything allows you the ability to record the movie of your voice and the display, ability to import Keynote, PowerPoint, PDF, and Dropbox from Dropbox, ability to import a working web objects, drawing, typing, manipulating objects easily, and then exporting. Mockstra does pretty much the same thing, except they have added the ability to share and collaborate, and it is a little bit quicker on creating the video at the end than Explain Everything. Here's a video I wanted to show you of a news station in town that did a piece on Rock Valley College when we just began screencasting and podcasting, which those two terms are synonymous, screencasting and podcasting. So this news piece is about podcasting, how it revolutionized the life of a student at Rock Valley College.
Getting a good college education can be tough sometimes, especially in larger schools where teacher-student interaction is limited. 23 News reporter Lauren Kravitz tells us how one local school is using technology to make sure students get the best education possible.
I love it. I think it's very helpful to have it in math.
Christy Johnson started using podcasts more than a year ago to help keep her up to speed in her classes at Rock Valley College.
A lot of times they have to go over a lot of things in a very short amount of time, and you can't ask questions a lot of times.
The program through iTunes U lets professors post their lectures or demonstrations online so students can rewatch the lesson later on their computers, iPhones, or iPods.
It's mobile, and they can learn anywhere, anytime, 24/7, which you can't get in a classroom. You have the contrast exercise due tonight.
In fact, RVC's podcasts are so popular, its digital photography and Photoshop podcasts are in the top downloads list amongst 800 universities.
We merge and center this.
And Christy says it's working for her.
2 semesters ago I had a lot of credits and I was struggling, and then last semester I had the podcasts and I made the dean's list.
She says being able to learn from home helps her remember and feel at ease.
If you don't understand something, you don't have to be embarrassed to say, I don't get it. Can you say it one more time? You don't have to be embarrassed because you had to watch it 4 times. Nobody has to know.
Now, some faculty members were concerned the podcast would encourage skipping class, but Professor Konkol says it actually encourages participation. He says they sometimes have students watch the podcast before class to quiz them during class or do hands-on labs. Tina? I was wondering about that. I'm glad you're pointing that out, Lauren. Well, subscribing to RVC podcasts are free and anyone can view them. Right now, they have 180 podcasts and 50,000 subscribers.
And lastly, one of the things you can do with your iPad is remote into your Mac or PC from your iPad. There's many times where you don't have the application you need, or in my case, since I teach Windows development and iOS development, both of those platforms to develop are on a Mac or a PC. And so the iPad, I cannot use it, doesn't have the built-in applications to use that. So, logmein.com, Splashtop, and TeamViewer. These are all free applications you can download to your Mac or PC. You can also download them to your iPad and then connect your iPad remotely to your iPad. Your iPad remotely can be, your PC or Mac can be remotely connected to your iPad. Here's a screenshot of my Mac computer running Xcode in an application called MySugar, which is a diabetic tool for diabetics to keep track of their sugar levels. This next is a screenshot of a remote session using logmein.com, logging into my PC and viewing code there. So, baby steps. Choose 1 or 2 courses to start teaching with the iPad. Choose courses that are well established. Choose courses that require whiteboard and presentations. Choose courses that require repetitive learning modules that you can create screencasts of and give to students via YouTube links on your website. So here are some ways you can teach with your iPad finally. Prepare your lessons. Apps I recommend: CloudOn, Keynote, Explain Everything. Grading papers: iAnnotate, Mockstra. Communication: Mail and iMessenger. Collaborate: Mockstra, ThinkPad. Teach: Explain Everything, Keynote, Mockstra, LogMeIn. And by teaching means presenting in the classroom. The apps in green here will be demoed in the My iPad can do that. From the session today, I will say I'm going to focus on, because we only have 45 minutes, for this session on Friday I'm going to focus on specifically Socrative and Explain Everything, and that's it, because we don't have time to do any more. ckonkol.com is where you can find more resources. I will also have on ckonkol.com, when you click on the iPad resources link, a link to a free online course on how to teach with your iPad, along with a link to the book, the iPad book, How to Teach with Your iPad, from the Apple Bookstore. So thanks for your time.